Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Red Ready Man. In this episode we're going to be taking a look at the Baby Cup, and towards the end I'm going to come up with some suggested teams for you. Now, what is the Baby Cup? Well, the Baby Cup is something Niantic announced last week, which is going to come out for the first week of Season 5, which starts tomorrow at Monday the 9th of November. And it's going to be around for 1 week, and in that limited meta you can only use Pokemon that have not evolved, so they're in their very first form and can evolve and are under 500 CP. Now, you would think a meta like this would mean that it's going to be quite diverse and lots of different stuff out there and lots of things. You are very wrong. This is a very focused meta. I'm a little concerned it's a little bit like the Flying Cup, where we're going to be seeing Aerodactyls, Skarmories, Zapdos. If you did the Flying Cup, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But we'll see. I mean, I hold out hope still that that's going to be something that might open up a little bit. So let's have a look at what I think the key Pokemon are going to be. Actually, before I do that, just to give you a little bit of context, I may not necessarily be the best person to be doing this because I am not a rank 10 player, but I spent hours and hours yesterday watching videos, reading articles, listening to podcasts, so I could consolidate all of that down into one video for you guys. So I hope you find it useful. If you do, let me know in the comments below, and I will make sure that I do them for the other cups that are coming up, the Kanto Cup and the Catch Cup that's going to be coming up fairly soon. So let's take a look at what I believe the meta is going to be. So the meta is going to be all about Bronzor. Bronzor is going to be at the centre of every single team that you see in this league. So you're either going to be playing Bronzor, using counters to Bronzor, or using counters to those counters of Bronzor. Like, that's how I see all of this playing out. So to the left we have some great counters for Bronzor. So we have Darumaka. Now Darumaka is a hatch only Pokemon that does hatch above 500 CP. So you're going to have to be doing some trading to get one that you'll be able to use in this cup. You have Shadow Stunky, and we all know that shadows are not the easiest things to get. And if you're anything like me, I've thrown all of my Stunkies away because I've never got a good PvP IV one. I never thought that I would need it for such a cup like this, so a little frustrated at that. And then you've got Dino. Now Dino, I don't know how to say it, but basically he is a hatch as well. Very few wild encounters, and all of the hatches are above 500 CP, so you're going to have to re-roll the IVs on this and hope that you get one that goes down to be able to use it in this cup. And this is another thing that's playing into why Bronzor is such a strong Pokemon, because its counters are not easily obtainable. And then some of the counters to the counters. So on the right there, we've got Wynut, and Wynut is a really good counter to Darumaka. But Wynut also has quite a few other good matchups in this league. So you've got things like it wins against Dino, it wins against Alolan Sandshrew, Vulpix, Lickitung, Seal. But he does lose to a lot as well, like Bronzor, Cottony, Shadow Stunky. But it is bulky. And although it is expensive to power up, it's nearly level 40 to power it up. There is no second move because Wynut doesn't have a second move. And then we have Shelmet. So Shelmet is going to be an interesting one. I mean, it's a really good counter to Dino and to Stunky as well. So it's a really good get to Stunky and to Wynut and to sorry, no, it's not. What am I talking about? It is. No, I'm right. And also a good counter to Lickitung as well. And then we've got Cottony. Now, Cottony is going to be a really good counter again to Dino, Stunky, Shelmet, Wynut, and maybe some Vullabies. Vullaby's another one that's going to be a problem for this cup because Vullaby is only coming from 12k eggs at the moment and comes at too high a CP. So you are going to have to re-roll to try and get one of those. Now, where have I learned all of this information from? Well, this information comes from probably one of the best I'll come out and say it is the best PvP website out there. On here, you can build teams and it will show you where your weaknesses are. You can do simulations with different Pokemon against different Pokemon, and I've been doing a lot of that to help do this video, and it is absolutely an amazing research. So for instance, look, we see Wooper here, he's rank 6. Well, what is Wooper going to win against? Well, it's going to win against Stunky, Sandshrew, Vulpix, Shadow and Darumaka, but it's going to lose to Bronzor, Cottony, Dino, Shelmet, Wynaut. So you're seeing very much a pattern forming here of how it's going to go and what it's going to be. So let's look at the most valuable Pokemon that I believe are going to be part of this cup, and if you have them, I think are probably worth investing. Well, maybe there's a rant on that coming at some point soon, but worth investing if you want to participate in this cup. So let's take a look at Bronzor here. So Bronzor is incredibly strong against the whole meta. That little graph at the bottom shows you that out of the meta, it will win 763 of its matches. It will lose 79 and draw 1. Like, that is really, really high. I mean, it really is gonna be an absolute tank to most things that are in there. It is an absolute monster of a Pokemon. It wins over 90% of its battles, and as we've already talked about, you know, its key kind of combatants here is going to be Dino, Darumaka, Shadow, Stunky, and interestingly Growlithe. And I think I'm actually thinking about running a Growlithe because I have one made up already, and Growlithe is really good against some of the other ones in the meta. So if you think about things like Cottony, it's really good against that kind of thing. So maybe some play in Growlithe, and it's also a cool looking Pokemon. I've been talking about it and mentioning it a lot, but Shadow Stunky. The normal Stunky is really not worth bothering with, and I really would stay away from the normal Stunky, but Shadow Stunky has real good wins against a lot of the meta. You're going to see it do really well just against Bronzor and all the rest of it. But what your counters you're going to need for this are Cottony, Lickitung, Dino, and Shelmet. So these are going to be ones that you're really going to be wanting to have in the background to be able to take out that Shadow Stunky. And then moving on to what I think is going to be a really valuable save swap is going to be Wynaut. Now Wynaut has lots of strong wins against Dino. It absolutely annihilates Dino. Sandshrew, Vulpix, which I think we will see a few Vulpixes and Shadow Vulpixes. Lickitung, Seal. Its key losses come from what you see there is, you know, Cottony, Shadow Stunky, Bronzor and Shelmet, and Scorpy. But I don't think we'll be seeing a lot of Scorpy. So I've come up with a few suggested teams for you here. These are just suggestions. Please do not feel that this is in any way like the way you should go. And I've tried my very hardest to build a team without a Bronzor in there, but it was really difficult. So the top one is one that I'm kind of leaning towards a little bit of, leading with Bronzor, having Growlithe as a swap if they swap into their Bronzor, and then having the Wynaut as a save swap. I'm not sure. I haven't been able to do any practice matches with this with any of these teams yet. I've just kind of built some of the Pokemon up ready to go, but I think this one will have a lot of play. I think the Shadow Stunky lead is quite strong on the second team, and purely because even if you lose that one and you come against a Bronzor in the back, you have your Bronzor and your Dino. So this is like really heavily weighted against Bronzor. You know, basically they're all in there to kill Bronzor, and they're all really good Pokemon that do a lot of damage. So I really like the look of this team. The non-Bronzor team is leading with Wynaut, and I'm leading with Wynaut because I think it's probably the safest one to lead with out of these two. It will come out of most battles okay, and if you have shield advantage, then you really can come out there. Then you've got Dino and Cottony. Dino for the Bronzor, and then the Cottony to clear up any Bronzor stuff happening afterwards. And then we've got Bronzor, Seal, and Shadow Vulpix. Do not go with normal Vulpix. Normal Vulpix will struggle in this one. Shadow Vulpix will actually come through, and it says it will win. But when I've looked at the I've looked at the different parts of it. It's very close. So something else, again, this should be just a Bronzor podcast, but something else about Bronzor as well to remember is that Bronzor with 2 shields at the end, if you're 2 shields up and you have Bronzor in the back, you will beat everything. With 2 shields to none, you will beat everything in this meta. Now, even if you have the strongest counters to Bronzor with 2 shields, it will win all of the matches. It is a super strong, super important MVP for this league. Okay, if you're still here, it's time for my rant. So I spent probably 500,000 Stardust last night on building 5 Pokemon for Baby Cup. We're also going to be having Kanto come up in a few weeks, which is going to be yet again more Stardust. Then we're going to have the Catch Cup, which is going to be even more Stardust. And I'm in lockdown. I can't go out and play Pokemon. If I put an incense on, it's rubbish. I am so disappointed that they've announced these cups now, which are so Stardust heavy and so weighted towards people being out there playing. I'm not allowed to go out there and play. I'm allowed to go out for essential things only, and as much as I think Pokemon is essential, it's really frustrating that I'm at a real disadvantage for this cup. Or I spend all of the Stardust that I've banked up. And maybe that's a reason why you should always save up your Stardust, is for when Niantic bring out things and you're in lockdown. Listen, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you find this information useful, and if you do, please comment below and I will make sure that I do some for the Kanto Cup that's coming up and the Catch Cup, and make sure that we get this kind of deep dive meta in there. But what are you still doing here? Let's go Pogo.